No matter what's going on in the world, there are always discoveries to be made. Those discoveries might be made by scientists, archaeologists, or just members of the public going about their everyday lives. We always have an eye out for amazing discovery stories, and when we find them, we bring them to you in videos like this. Enjoy! In August 2022, Scott Overland was sat inside a restaurant in Rehoboth Beach, Pennsylvania, USA, with his family, about to enjoy a shellfish meal. When he was served his clam and peered inside it, he was astonished to see a stunning purple pearl looking back at him. At first, he thought it was either a bead or perhaps something that had accidentally been dropped into the dish by the chef. Scott almost didn't make this discovery at all, as he was about to send the dish back to the kitchen because his wife didn't like the bell pepper garnish. Pearls usually form inside the shells of living oysters. Pearls that form within other shellfish are far rarer, and the purple shade of this one makes it rarer still. The rules of finders keepers appear to apply in this case, so the pearl has stayed with Scott rather than the restaurant. He now plans on taking it to be appraised by an expert, where he's likely to find that it's worth several $1,000s. That more than pays for the meal he had to buy in order to find it. The latest of NASA's rover vehicles to reach Mars is Perseverance, which touched down in 2021. It recently took a picture of the Martian surface that caused confusion and excitement on Earth. Just what is the stringy object in this image? Is it hair? Is it an alien creature? Might it just be string? The latter of those options is the most likely explanation. NASA thinks that it's debris left over from the day the rover landed. To be more specific, the agency thinks it's a piece of Dacron netting. The netting is used in the thermal blankets that protected Perseverance when it made its descent through the atmosphere of the red planet at speeds approaching 12,000 miles per hour. Other images taken from the vicinity show the shattered back shell of the rover, which was designed to break up on impact, and did so in spectacular fashion. The presence of the netting actually poses an issue for NASA, as they now need to double-check Perseverance's most recent findings to make sure they haven't been contaminated by any other debris that came with the rover from Earth. On August 1, 2022, Mexican weather reporter Isidro Cano Luna took a picture of a strange metallic orb stuck in a tree on the outskirts of the city of Veracruz. Isidro wondered whether it might be a piece of space debris, but experts say that's unlikely. However, nobody's been able to positively identify the mystery object. In the blurry images taken by the weather reporter, the sphere appears to have a pole sticking out of it, almost like an antenna. Luna says that it appears to be made of either metal or very hard plastic, but he didn't want to get too close to it in case it's radioactive. The idea that it might be space debris can probably be ruled out because there are no scorch marks on the sphere. If it had fallen through the atmosphere, it would have been exposed to extremely high temperatures, and so would have been burned. It does look a lot like a fuel tank of the kind that would be used in the rocket stage of a spacecraft, but we have to consider the possibility that it's a hoax. Almost all of us have heard a version of the Nazi gold train legend. The story that says somewhere, underground in Europe, there's a train laden heavy with all of the gold, artwork, and precious jewels that Hitler's Nazis stole as they stormed through Europe. It's generally thought to be a myth, but in 2015, a report came from Poland saying that a team of experts had finally located the long-lost train. The most commonly told version of the story is that the train went into a tunnel close to the border between Poland and Germany in 1945 and was never seen again. Now the location of the train is being given as Wrocław, Poland. Scans taken by ground-penetrating radar appear to show a 300-foot-long train deep below the surface. Based on the scans, the train appears to be armored. That would certainly suggest that the cargo aboard it is valuable. The next step is to dig down and access the train, a process that has moved frustratingly slowly so far. Has the lost gold of the Third Reich finally been found again? Experts still need to do a lot of work to prove it, but the suggestion has got the public excited. In 2017, scientists discovered the tiny fossil of a 500 million year old spiny sea creature with some unusual properties. The most surprising of those properties is that it has a mouth full of sharp teeth, but doesn't have an anus. Despite the fact that it looks and sounds like an alien life form, the scientists who discovered it wondered whether it might be the earliest known ancestor of the human race. In August 2022, we got an answer to that question. Unsurprisingly, the answer is no. The creature, which has been given the scientific name Saccharidus coronarius, was originally assigned to a group of creatures called deuterostomes. The group includes vertebrates. After extensive research, experts have now classified it as an ecdysozoan. Rather than being related to vertebrates, creatures in this category are ancient ancestors of modern insects and spiders. However, every other known creature in the category has an anus. There's a rather disgusting explanation for how the creature disposed of its waste. It came back out of the same hole it ate through. We should be very thankful we're not related to it after all. Humans first settled on the banks of the River Danube hundreds of years ago. In August 2022, we found that the first humans arrived there even earlier than we thought. Archaeologists working in the region have found a treasure trove of newly discovered artifacts, including medieval graves full of jewelry and swords. But they've also found pottery that dates back to the Stone Age. There are even a few graves from the Neolithic era, which have been dated to 5,000 years ago and contains members of the corded ware culture. Prior to this discovery, the oldest verifiable evidence of people living in and around the Geisingen-Gudmandingen district of Tuttlingen came from the year 1273. Clearly, those 13th century residents were late to the party. The corded ware culture, so named because of the decorated pottery they produced, were among the first people in Europe to keep sheep and cows and to farm barley crops. Grave discoveries from this period are exceptionally rare in southern Germany, so it's no exaggeration to say that this find changes the history of the region.